The next part, the graph of y equals negative f of x, is the graph of y equals f of x reflected about the x-axis. And the graph of y equals f of negative x is the graph of y equals f of x reflected about the y-axis. So for example, here we have the parent function x squared. So this is a. And then notice for b, we have a negative in front of the x squared. And so if we graph that function, notice what we get. So this is the parent function. And this is the second function. So notice that the graph opens downward. So it reflects on the x-axis. So here's your x-axis. So if you fold the paper, this parabola here will land on top of this one here. So this graph is going to open down if the number in front of x squared is negative. So this is letter B. So the difference here is the negative in front of the x squared. Okay, let's look at 39. It says use the graph of f of x to obtain the graph of g of x equals negative absolute value of x. So the parent function again is the v shape. This is f of x. And since I have a negative on the outside of the absolute value, then it's going to reflect on the x-axis. So in other words, it's going to open downward. So this is g of x. So in example 11, we want to compare what happens with these graphs. So first, I'm going to graph the parent function, square root of x. Okay. And for letter A, it says g of x is equal to negative square root of x. Notice that the negative is on the outside of the square root of x. So this is going to have x-axis symmetry. In other words, it opens downward. And so this graph, if I fold it on the x-axis, come this way here, then it's going to land down here. Okay, on the next one, we have the parent function. This is h of x. I'm sorry, this is f of x. And notice here that the negative is in the inside. So what that means is you should have y-axis symmetry. So that means we're going to fold this way. So the first one, we fold it down because the negative was on the outside. If it's on the inside, then we fold on the y-axis. So the graph for this will look like this. Okay, so this is h of x. And then the last one, let me graph the parent function. And so now we have a negative. Notice that the negative is on the outside. So that's going to have reflection on the x-axis. And then we have a +2 in here, so that means shift left 2 units. Okay, so we can shift to the left 2 units. 1, 2, and then we're going to reflect on the x-axis. Okay, or you can reflect first. So we would end up here, and then we would go over 2 units. So my graph would look something like this.